What's going on, Taurus? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having an amazing week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Taurus, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. So Taurus, minor tweak to the channel here, nothing real crazy. Just considering after that planetary energy spread, I kind of like that. And I think that one's going to be just a monthly spread for this channel. And then every video in between that's just going to be weekly. So whenever you come across this video, Taurus, this one could resonate with you, okay? And then just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Taurus. So with this spread, Taurus, we're just going to be going with the flow. We're going to pull a few oracle cards, and then we'll get some tarot cards to clarify this, okay? But just so you all know, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings. So apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And then these decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below. So definitely check that out if you're interested there, Taurus. But interesting. So Taurus, we got the 5th card of Capricorns here, which is the Dear John card. And with the Dear John, this is a card of rejection, cold hard truth, breaking up, set boundaries, divorce, strained situation, it's not you, it's me, the end, final word, cutting cords, something's not working. So Taurus, so this on a base level, I do feel like if we're in a relationship right now, let's say that we're in something that we're at like a crossroads right now where we feel like it's like, do we stay, do we go, what are we doing? We'll get some more cards on this, but if things don't seem to quite be working out, and we're just at this place of dissonance, if we're maybe starting up a thing, or, maybe if we're just saying with the divorce, maybe even if we're like in a married situation, and if we've gotten to this place of where a decision needs to be made, Taurus, this is something where it can be these situations can be tough, and I'm not sure what's going down in the situation yet, but if you feel like this is something that you can salvage, maybe it was just like a lack of communication, maybe we're able to figure something out, I say, give it a try. If both parties can get on the same page, absolutely. But if we feel that we can't seem to reach some sort of agreement or anything along those lines, then we got to figure out what do next steps look like, because even like in separations where it may really suck in the moment, and where it can hurt and all of those things, I feel that it doesn't have to be, such just a sad situation. Or even sometimes when you're thinking about these situations, sometimes they can get kind of nasty, there could be a lot of anger and anything along those lines. I feel that this can be something where this is a learning experience, because even no matter where we're at on this journey, prior to, there was love there. We formed a contract, everyone was in agreement, life things happen, who knows what may have changed down the lines, but remembering that, there was love here at some point, and this allows you to, at the end of this thing, it gives you a moment to reflect, and think about what things did you like in the relationship, what things didn't you like, and then it also gives you a chance, because remember, Taurus is a two-way street. This gives you a chance to look at the ways that you brought it, and then the ways that you can improve as well. Everyone can learn from this thing, and there can be, we can have an amiable separation here. It doesn't have to be where it's where it's just all harsh words and anything, hurt feelings and all of that. We got to feel this stuff, sure, and we might, it's going to feel down for a second, but the growth is going to happen. But let's get a little bit more on this, Taurus, before we jump into Or let's just get a little bit more on this story. Because I said we already jumped into it. So let's get a little bit more on this story. Interesting. That's so funny, Taurus. Sidebar, Libra started off with like the same card. And you know what? I feel like that this is a time, with this Nine of Pentacles popping up, this is a good time to, if we're going through some kind of separation right now, focus on you. Focus on getting your stability back, getting your place, getting yourself in a state of just back where your foundation is strong again, Taurus. And Taurus, you can, because let's say, we don't want to break this up, but we do need some time apart. I feel like that you can, because when I think about with couples, where we do in like partnerships and all of that, where we do have our stuff where we grow together, in order for that harmony to be established, we have to be able to focus on ourselves first. And because there's individual work that we've all been sent here to do as well. And when we're allowed to really focus on raising, getting our place, our vibrations where we need to, then that allows the other person to do the same. And then hopefully, when you're both working on this stuff, because for me, I feel like relationships, when I'm just thinking about it, it's not really about a compromise. It's more so about how do our energies come together in harmony. We're not here to bring less than, and we want to help this thing to work like a well-oiled machine. And how do we enhance this stuff? I don't want you to take away, I want you to bring more value and stuff, and instead of like, how can we compromise? It's just like, how can we transform this situation into something more desirable for the both of us, Taurus? But I do feel like that if this is something, wherever you're at in this, making sure if we're in a relationship, we want to try to work this thing out, well, make sure that we're taking some time for us. But on the flip side, this can be a great time again for you to reflect, to get your stability back and get yourself back, towards your Empress energy, because this is like, this is the pre-Empress energy right here. So let's get some more tarot on this. Yeah, I feel like Venus is trying to tell you in Libra, yes, so this is a time just like self-care right now, and really kind of focusing on getting your energies in a good place there, Taurus. All right, let's see what else we have here, Taurus. So we got the Four of Wands here in reverse, and then we have the Ace of Pentacles. And so, Taurus, I will say, with whatever is going down in your situation, if we're feeling like things aren't working, I do feel like, try not to drag this stuff out. If we need to complete this cycle, if we need to maybe call this stuff quits, then I feel like that it may be time to call, to accept the cold hard truth that this isn't working here. But I don't feel like that this again has to affect your abundance, because this, like, sometimes separations and things, they can be blessings in disguise, because now that you've had some time, this space has opened up here and you've been focusing on yourself, new opportunities are getting ready to come your way. And again, I even feel like if we're in something and this is like, we don't want this thing to, we can still see how we can work this thing out together. I do feel like that this is something that you're gonna need to make sure that we are taking the time to focus on you, and that there is a balance here, Taurus, because otherwise I just feel like, again, with the Ace of Pentacles, I feel that, where you're not going to miss any opportunities that were meant for you. It's just that if we have other things that we're working on, any sort of like unresolved things or anything along those lines, Taurus, it just makes it a little difficult for this to see the abundance and to see the direction that things are going to next. So, just making sure that we are working on yourself and that we do take this time to, if things aren't feeling harmonious, and just something's not working, sometimes we have to make those difficult decisions, Taurus, whether this is you or maybe this is your person that's coming to you, Taurus. And if they are, and we feel like, if they can't see anything, Taurus, sometimes, because that just kind of dawned on me, and Taurus, you're in a judgment-free zone here. And if someone's trying to break things off and, they don't see that how we can fix this, then we have to respect that Taurus. And this is not a failure of yours if things don't work out. This, again, gives you a time to reflect and think about where you were at on your journeys. Could have just been a timing thing, but you got everything that these things happen for a reason, Taurus. All right. Let's get some more oracle stuff here. Interesting. Okay. All right, Taurus, so you got the 6th card of Pisces here, which is the childhood card. And with this childhood card, this is a card of innocence, playful, growing, friendship, lightness of being, foundations, need of others, revisit the past, living life, no worries, inexperience, growth, and new beginnings. And Taurus, I feel with this energy, just thinking about the revisiting the past, and because sometimes when we're going through these types of separations and things, there are some times where I feel like, down the line, after we've put in like, a little bit of distance, there are those questions of, when we're in a better place, in a more healed spot, sometimes I feel like we can get a little nostalgic and think about, how would things have been if I had been operating from a healed place? And we think about maybe venturing back to the past, and where I hear you on that, Taurus, but also think in order for you to have gotten to this realization in the first place, that we've had to have moved on, and where this situation, this past thing, it had its beautiful moments, I'm sure. I feel like it's about looking towards the future, Taurus. It's about growth. It's about new beginnings, and if we find that we're having this need for others, feeling this, maybe this I don't know, where it's we feel like we need others to define us, or anything along those lines. Taurus, all you need is you, and once you learn to, once you really get that comfortable connection with yourself, all that love and stuff, your soulmates and soul family, all of that stuff, your abundance, really all comes to you. But I feel like it's about remembering to keep moving forward. And, so you've made a decision, and let this experience, when we do get in that place of nostalgia, it's okay. I feel like when an experience like that happened, you give it love and light, you thank that person, and then you set it free. You send those vibrations their way, because they did. If it wasn't for this situation, we wouldn't have been able to, start working on this stuff and get our Ace of Pentacles and start this growth and things. But so just something to keep in mind, Taurus. But let's get some tarot on this. Interesting. And that's what I feel like, Taurus, with this, because you got the Page of, let's start with this Page of Pentacles first. Because with the Page of Pentacles, it's just thinking with this growth and new beginnings and stuff, this is, when we look to the future, and we've learned from our past, Taurus, that's where the growth is. That's where the expansion, that's where the Ace of Pentacles is. And I don't know. When it comes back to past experiences, I really feel like if, you know, apply it to your situation, but could something potentially work back from the past? Like maybe, but I feel like it really just depends on, what higher self, your universe really kind of had intended there. And, you can, just thinking about, because listen, I can't tell you what to do. No one can tell you what to do. If you want to go back to the past, that's totally fine, Taurus. But it's just like, what does that mean? How does this manifestation look? Is this going to affect the healing that you've done? Something. These are things that we think about because, I mean, Taurus. I mean, really, you got 6 of Swords upright, and then we got 10 of Wands and 9 of Swords in reverse, and really. The 6 of Swords, this is about letting go of past stuff and keeping it moving because you're going into a new experience. And if we bring these swords in that boat, if we bring these old experiences, these doubts, these, this what ifs, then it's going to affect the foundation of this new thing that you're trying to create, Taurus. But if we come from a place of healing and we start letting that stuff go, the things that may have been holding us back, and embrace this healing that we've put into this work, Taurus, it's just going to change up this whole experience. Things are going to really start opening up for you, and things are I feel like going to start just like getting a lot easier, and things are going to start rolling. And it's going to take some work at first, and it's going to be an adjustment. But if we keep living in that energy and keep telling ourselves, keep attracting that past energy back, then, it's just like where how is this, the biggest question is, how is this going to affect your growth? How are these going to affect things long term? Those are the questions I feel like when we're thinking about possibly going, back to past stuff and things along those lines. So, take this time to really reflect and think about, and just really think about what this next chapter looks like for you, Taurus, because it does get kind of weird when you're trying to start new experiences, but we're still kind of clinging to the past. Where the universe is getting weird signals, and then things start not quite manifest. It starts affecting the manifestation, and just the signals get a little weird. So, just I hope that makes sense, Taurus. But okay, let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got, Taurus. Interesting. We got Ace of Swords here, and then we got you, Taurus. We got the Hierophant. And, with this Ace of Swords popping up in reverse here, I feel like it's just saying, just be mindful of our thoughts, and be mindful of when we get into that place of, like, if we're thinking about nostalgia and revisiting the past and stuff like that, I feel like this Ace of Swords is like, don't forget what you learned from this experience, Taurus, because again, in order for that healing to have happened in the first place, if we decided to make this move, if things didn't work out, we had to take that step. And now this gives you an opportunity to really connect with who you are, and really to find your stability, to find your foundation, Taurus. And when I just feel like that there's just going to be this peace in this, I just like really this peace and this understanding, but I really am getting towards that where it's moving, it's keeping eyes forward, So, all right, let's get a drink, and then let's get some more oracle stuff here. Yeah, very interesting reading, Taurus. And I get it where we do have our doubts, especially I feel like after we've made this decision and then we hit that first roadblock, because then we can start like doubting like, oh crap, did I make the right choice? Like maybe this was a mistake, then we get in like panic mode. And Taurus, it's okay. It's just a hurdle. It's like now we're just getting, if you've been in a relationship for a while, we're just getting, it's like we're reestablishing our experience again. I'm just thinking with this inexperience card, it's like we're learning how to ride a bike again by ourselves. If we've been on like a tandem bicycle for a while. So, all right, let's get some more, another oracle card on this situation. Oh, okay. Interesting. So, last card here, Taurus. You got the 8th card of Aquarius, which is the fish hook. And this is a card of powerless, feeling helpless, paralyzed, vulnerable, trap, temptation, bait, con game, great catch, luck, prosperity, resourcefulness, abundance, and multiplication principle. So I'm going to break this up. We're going to talk about that first half, and then we're going to talk about the latter half. Because with that first half, I'm just really the baiting kind of stuck out, and the con game kind of stuck out to me at first. If, as a sidebar, just kind of thinking with this abundance here, Taurus, and this creations and whatnots, being mindful of, if we have people that are if you feel like someone's trying to like maybe pull a fast one on you, as far as like, maybe just thinking with this like con game and stuff, just be mindful of people who may want to try to, scammers and things along those bouts. I got a text message like maybe a couple weeks ago talking about, oh, your Netflix account's about to be canceled if you don't click this link or something along those lines. And it's just like, homie, you got to try harder. I don't have a Netflix account. Let's do some research. but Taurus, just with that, be mindful of that. But something else I feel like with this, because sometimes, when we think about relationships, we can put such stock on them, and like I feel like that we feel like if we're not in a relationship that we're failing in some aspect, or it makes us feel like that we're not, that we're not doing something right, and we feel helpless, we feel powerless. We start, and in that effort to try to get with someone, we'll just take any old, not any old person, but we give it like a base level as far as like what we want to accept, but really don't really give it that depth. And what I'm trying to get at is, when we think about relationships and like letting them define us, something, when I invite you to check your chart, a big thing with that, if we feel, let's say if that's resonating with you, if you feel weird not being when you're in a relationship, and it's like, and I mean, not even just like being alone, it's more so like a real type of strong attachment with that. That could be if you find yourself that you have like a lot of placements in the 7th house, because I know someone who has very heavy 7th house placements. They have like their sun, their moon, their Venus, and I want to say their Mercury or some other very personal planets that are involved in that. And it's no fault of his own, but it's something that you got to get eyes on that, because there's this tendency that relationships really mean everything to you, and it's something that I find that in order to deal with that, or the best, or for me, I feel like a good way, or possibly one way, let's put it that way, one way to deal with that would be to really strengthen that bond within, form that relationship with yourself, and really have the strongest relationship here, because Taurus, you are all that you need, that to complete this journey. And that's not to say that we're not working with people, but it starts here in getting that foundation. And it's like, you don't have to look outside of yourself to get where you need to be. When you focus here, everything else attracts to you, the soulmates, the soul family, all of that stuff. But build that relationship here, Taurus, if that's something that where you feel powerless, helpless, if we're not in a relationship or something along those lines. But I also feel that if we're in something where, if you're in a relationship where you're feeling like, some kind of, if there's some sort of like abuse, or, you know, feeling helpless, or, you know, where you feel trapped, or anything along those lines. You know, Taurus, we got to think about our health. We got to think about all of our stuff, you know, and think about if it's affecting your growth, your manifestation, like you said, your health, even like your resources, your finances. We got to find a way to get out of this thing, you know, and grow from this. But okay, that knocks that out of there. But on the bottom half of that, this great luck, this prosperity, this abundance, I feel that when we start, you know, if we make this decision and we start moving forward, then that's when really the Ace of Pentacles, your abundance, the resource, you're going to become resourceful. All of this stuff will really start pouring in, and it's going to take a moment, Taurus, you know, for this energies to get back in alignment here, but they will. That's the thing, you know, if you're working on this stuff. But let's get some tarot on this. Ooh, okay. So we got 8 of Swords here, and you know, Taurus, because maybe this is something where, if this is not a person that's doing this, because maybe this is something where we're just feeling powerless and stuff. Maybe this is the things that we're telling ourselves. You know, maybe you've made this decision, and you feel uncomfortable. You feel in this place of like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? You know, especially if I'm thinking, if we were in like if we just got through a divorce, maybe we had to separate assets and, you know, house stuff, kids, you know, all that things. And if we're really starting fresh, if you've been keeping your place, like you've been doubting yourself, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? What can I do? You know, in that sort of like panic state. I feel like this is something where you, Taurus, don't let yourself, if you can absolutely get through this, but I feel like don't feel afraid to ask for help, you know, just with this 3 of Cups, and be mindful too of what you're telling yourself, because you absolutely can get through this, you know. This is Mars and Gemini, and I think I say that because Gemini energy is like communication. And if we're communicating to ourselves, you know, real harsh things that we can't do this stuff, you know, all the negative vibrations, then that's going to affect our action, because that's Mars energy. That's it's going to affect how Mars energy. Tower moments start happening to us. We're going to talk about this tower in a minute. But if we tell ourselves more nurturing things, like, you know, like, yes, this is a tough situation, but I'm going to get it figured out because I'm resourceful. You know, I have all the tools, you know, I have a great foundation of people who love me, who are going to, you know, support me through all this, you know, who's going to, Taurus, I feel like we can get through this tower moment. You know, this may be something that maybe it happened to you, maybe you caused this tower moment, whatever this look, you know, whatever the situation is. We can power through this stuff, but really the tower is about out with the old and in with the new. And this is something, Taurus, if let's say if we've tried this game and we've gone back to something, you know, maybe this is like, if we're, you know, maybe you've tried this game, you know, maybe this has like been like a recurring thing. And again, no judgment here, you know, we try to make it work, and, you know, we think you know, at the moment it sounded great, but then something keeps happening, you know. If we're noticing that, then we got to change the narrative and switch things up and figure out how can we get ahead of this stuff here, okay? Well, let's see what else we got. There you are again, Taurus. Strong earth energy coming through here. Yo energy. Because with the Knight of Pentacles, let's see what else we got here. And the Star. Absolutely. This is a healing process right now, Taurus. Whatever is going down here, you know, if this has been resonating with you, this coming in anymore. Let's switch back over, Taurus. This is a healing experience for you right now, if any of this is resonating with you. And this is going to be something, it's going to take some time. It's going to require some patience, but I mean, you're coming through in a strong way here. I don't think any more of your cards here, but I mean, you got your major arcana and your court card here. So you're coming through in a strong way, and I feel like this really does show that you got this thing. And think too, Taurus, the nice thing, I love that, because after a Tower moment comes the healing. You know, the star is right after the Tower, and where this, it may have sucked, you know, but it's going to take a little time, but you will heal through this, Taurus. And this could be something too, you know, I feel like if we're having a tough time with this, the star can be also a card of unexpected help. So I feel like don't feel afraid, like if we feel like we need to reach out to someone, that whether that be a friend, a family member, or even like, you know, even somebody like a professional, that's absolutely fine. Anything that's going to help you with this healing process this Tower moment, because these moments, Tower moments, are not meant to just happen to you just to keep you down. This whole thing is there to elevate you at the end of the day, Taurus. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave that there. This was interesting, Taurus. Interesting little read. I hope that made sense. But if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up, because, you know, when I think about thumbs up, it's because that's always kind of weird, you know, even when because especially if we had like a kind of a tougher energy type of readings, like give it a thumbs up. But it's more so along the lines of when we give it a thumbs up, at least in how I feel about it, it's like an indicator of that there are other people that are going through this, that we're all trying to figure this journey out. You know, there are times we're on top of the world. We're freaking 9 of Pentacles, and then the next day is the Tower moment. It's just like, what the F happened? But it's just nice sometimes to know that, not necessarily that, like, you know, I'm not happy that you're going through this situation, of course, but I feel like it would at least bring a little ease, you know, and little comfort, like, okay, like, yeah, like I'm not alone. Like this is, I can get over this stuff here, you know, like it just, and you know, Taurus, if you know someone who is going through this stuff, share this with them, you know, and you just anything to kind of help, yeah, get over this thing, because this does feel like you can get over this, and it's going to be worth it in the long run. You're going to really get a different level of prosperity, you know, because believe me, you know, I do understand that when we're thinking about past stuff, because there are times where it's like, man, if I went back to this, it's like you know, if I do X, Y, and Z, everything will be back to normal. But see, I feel we go to the past because it's familiar, because we already know how that story is going to end. And if it ended in separation last time, and it's not to say that that won't happen again, but it's just like, you know, so just something to think about. And then if you haven't already, subscribe and then hit that bell button. You get notified when I release videos each week. And as far as social media, the big thing I'm working on right now is this app. It's a meditation app, Insight Timer. And I created a group on there called Zodiac's Raising the Vibration. And it's just a little spot if, you know, I put affirmations in there daily. So you got a little treasure trove there if you need just like a little pick-me-up working through this stuff. And kind of like confidence. And you know, Taurus, if you think of any kind of mantras or anything along your journey that you feel that would raise the vibration, drop them in the group there too. That's exactly what it's for. And you know, as it grows, I want to start like maybe scheduling different meditations during like maybe different astrological events. Who knows, Taurus? It's just like opportunities are limitless. But yeah, check that out. Again, it's on the app Insight Timer, and that the group is Zodiac's Raising the Vibration. And then the last thing, if you have any, I hope you're not dealing with a Cancer, but if you have any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mars, wherever, Taurus, come on over to my channel, The Chariot and Friends, because you know what? In the Libra and I, we have, Libra and Cancer, we have a good relationship, but the moon is exalted in your sign. You know, Cancerians and Taurus, you know, we really do have just like a really harmonious relationship. So just come on over. We love your energy. But we discuss, I discuss lunar shenanigans over there. It's a good old time. I do videos Monday through Friday. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card, Taurus, so I can get you out of here. Love it. 10 of Pentacles. Look at that. You got your abundance back, Taurus. Yes. So I'm talking about. Unless, you know what, while I'm shuffling for your oracle card here, Taurus, You know, this is why we embrace the new, Taurus, because this gives us a chance to like ask us what's next. You know, it gives you a chance to build a new foundation and to work on something that it's something that it's, I mean, it's your story, you know, like I'm not how do I want to put that? This to me is like you getting your confidence back, and like this is saying like, see, it was all worth it in the end. You know, when we invest in ourselves and really just trust that we can do this stuff, Taurus, you absolutely can. And you know what, while you're doing it, Taurus, as it makes sense, you know, try to do some things, do some fun things for yourself, you know, while you're going through this stuff, because this can be a lot, you know. And while we're going through this healing, it doesn't have to be all just like reflections and just like deep meditation and just like heavy feelings all the time. We can get out, maybe travel, maybe I don't know, let's just think of Three of Cups, maybe hit up some friends possibly, or but just anything to just kind of get you in, just like any little things to just raise your vibration and just, yeah, just to help you get through this time, Taurus. I really feel like would definitely be of a benefit for you, Taurus, in the end. So, all right, I think I'm gonna leave that there. So you stay safe out there, Taurus. And you know, with everything that's going down here, if we're having trouble raising the vibration, I tell you, it was a little bit of a tough one for Empress ruled signs, for Venus signs. But you know what? This is my art, putting your arm around me, and I'm gonna help you raise that vibration if we're having a little bit of trouble, you know. You may not be able to be there physically, but bring spirit, you know, star energy. And I will catch you on the next one later.